Zackdaboss. Game number 1, Grand Finals.
It's that time to determine who will be your 2v2 championships for Australia, and the return of the Double Orion is going to come back. It looked phenomenal earlier. A big thing that happened was the constant trade-offs of who was the better ace at the point. It was a couple games of Vay, not carrying, but holding down the front well enough where Hypka could support. And then at the end, it was Hypka who picked it up a ton when Vay was getting figured out, and they were able to get the job done. So see if they're able to replicate that success, because Doggo and Zach were very close to putting themselves in Grands themselves.
Yeah, I mean, of course, reminder that they started off winners final with a 2-0 lead, and it was Vay and Hypka who ended up bringing that one back 3-0ing in the reverse. Vay already throwing out the side airs, almost takes out Zackdaboss on the left side. Another side light side air. Zackdaboss trying to find his way back, but he won't get past the down air.
Are we sure we're looking at the lance, or are we looking at the hammer with the stop sign attached to it? Because that was a whole wall and a stop sign that Zach was not allowed to pass on the left side of the stage.
He just could not get past any of those down airs. And Doggo, like, he was getting boxed out. He was not able to go over there and give that reprieve at all as well.
That's the thing we talked about before, the separation. That's actually what worked for Doggo and Zach in the last game, is their ability to separate the super offensive team. But this double Orion core is just poke, separate, force the 1v1s, and they happen to beat it. Also, they're getting checked by these side sigs a lot. They've been getting hit quite a bit by those.
Yeah, I mean, Vay and Hypka, of course, they've got that stock advantage. Like, they can kind of go for some of these goofier options, just kind of make sure the red team is staying on their toes. The down sig will take out the teammate there. A little bit unfortunate for Hypka.
One of those games where you're playing so good that you have to take your own teammate out. But if you're the red team, you need to take advantage of that moment if you can. But look at this, the defense. They're not letting Doggo get anything started. If you're preventing Cannon from finding that D-Light, or even just finding a straight nair to get a KO, then you were in an immaculate spot.
They're doing this thing where, like, they'll get the neutral win, and then the other blue team member will make sure that that neutral win doesn't get punished. Like, they're getting that opener, and then they're making sure that they're getting away with that.
I think back to that previous set where they had that team combo going, and what did Vay do instead of continuing the team combo? He turned his focus to the opposing side and put out a Sarah to block. That's exactly the whole strategy, but this is a big opportunity for them. Can they get the weapon toss? No, recovery. They get one. The save, though, that is going to be allowing him to get back on, but that was very close to them evening up the game. Or not evening up, but getting it in a much better position.
Would have been a little bit closer, and then you look at the top right, and you're like, wait, Hypka's like fresh on the second
I didn't
stock.
realize Hypka still had two. Sorry, I screwed up there. I mean, that's kind of par for the course for Hypka, just refusing to get hit most of the match.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing so good. Again, both blue team members have been in that position of, like, holding down the fort for that blue team. Down light down air onto Hypka, just getting some damage put out, but man, Zackdaboss cannot afford too much more damage.
And there's Vay sneaking right underneath, and a big reversal sider. That's going to put them up in a 2v1. Doggo is not in a great spot. No matter which way you look at it, even if they can't get too many big combos, that's 2 lances that are just constantly going to check your approach.
Dude, all those down sigs. Just taking out space. Just down 6 for days, and Vay will close out game number 1.
I mean, what do you even do to land past that? You avoid Lance D-Sig. It's like, okay, cool. Here's Spear D-Sig. Oh god, I have to freak out. And then by the time that's done, you're probably getting caught by something off of Lance anyway. So here it is again. And not only did they do that well with the space control, they both covered each soft platform that forced Doggo to go to center. If you don't do that, that allows Doggo to try and sneak by and maybe try to get a quick 1v1 against Hypka on the right, but they maneuvered him right where they needed to him center, where you're still unarmed and you have nothing you could do to try and go force something to happen.
Yeah, that's actually really smart. I did not really think about the way that they were kind of just funneling Doggo into that central position where it's like, that's, of course, we talk about it in 1v2s, like that you never want to be in the middle between the two people. Yep. That's just such a dangerous spot to be in. And of course, good call out that like they're kind of just like forcing him into that spot. And now we're seeing Zackdaboss, not on the Hattori, it's over to the Jae-Yun, or I guess that's the Negan for game number 2.
It is always very, it always throws me off anytime I don't see Lucille show up when he has it. But I mean, Great Sword is definitely a solid option to deal with the grounded gameplay, but will it be enough to allow you to get the bridges? Because they constantly hit whenever they see someone getting something started, so you need to separate, and right now this is the opportunity to do it.
I mean, it really feels like Zackdaboss is just trying to be like, all right, y'all control a lot of space. I'll try to control my own space with this great sword. Just get these big swings, play that split that the blue team is forcing right now as the downlight recovery. And I love, again, Doggo pushes him up instead of the left to the teammate.
I think you might actually be right on the money with that greatsword spacing gameplay, because up until that point, everything was just quick separation that Hattori wasn't able to do before. And that actually has led to them to taking the first 2 stocks here. So you still have access to the sword, of course, with the Jaeyoon, but the greatsword really being a big difference maker to start it off.
Yeah, but you're starting to see him play a little bit more of an aerial game. Hypka gets behind him, and the side air will finish off. That's not going to KO Doggo just yet, but he's got to get past 2 spears, and he manages it.
Good job. Again, I mean, that's... at this point, we can't even be surprised anymore. Doggo just keeps sneaking his way past these edgeguard plays, but Doggo does get snared, does allows a power play, trying to force him over to the soft platform, but good defense there from Zach. And they've been minimizing the amount of damage the blue team has put on so far.
Doggo, he is really trying to extend this stock. Zackdaboss again, trying to play that grounded game, control some space. The anchor comes out, Vey with the turnaround side air to punish.
Gets away. Oh, landed a little bit too early for the neutral stick to be able to get anything out of it. But again, this is as close as you can get. But big difference here in this last like 30-ish seconds or so, Duke, is the greatsword did nothing that time. It was a good start, and that time, nothing happened.
Man, those team combos, though. And, of course, very intelligently not going for same move options to risk that DI coming out from Doggo. But like you said, Zackdaboss has not had any momentum on his second stock greatsword.
Yeah, they need to find a way to replicate that success. But here we go,
Doggo.
big whiff on the D-Sig. That's going to be a sider, so that's going to give them the lead right back. There's another Sair. Will they be able to close it out here? Yes, they do. So that puts the red team back in the lead.
No, but this is still very close. Red team has the lead, but there's 1 stock gone and 1 more hit, and Zackdaboss is going to be joining everybody else in those final stocks.
Borrow time, if you will, on that stock for Jaeyoon. So there's a big opportunity for Doggo to get some damage in. They do, however, get the closeout. And this is 1 stock apiece here, game number 2.
Oh, man, the interrupt comes out there. You saw them setting up for a team combo with the GCN Sig. Doggo ended up managing to get out of that, so the team, so the damage is relatively even still.
And Vey just trying to find some ground to land on at the moment, but that Sair's going to separate them. Oh, okay, they're actually playing outside of the range of the side Sigs all of a sudden. Before they were just getting hit. This very big, and look at that positioning Deb had. Played right next to the weapon spawn, never let them get it.
Yeah, great coverage coming out from the red team. This swap over to the Jaeyoon, so good for them, but they need to finish off this stock of Hypka. Recovery, not quite enough.
Hypka just, it's going to be very, very difficult to get access to a weapon if you even can at this point. You got that in front of you, made him burn as many resources as possible. As soon as you see him hover back into center, dodge burned or not, even if you somehow spot dodge past that greatsword recovery, who's already sitting right there on that platform? You are not getting past both of them in that position. And a very similar play, look right there. There is the hover. Doggo has the side platform. Make sure that if you hover down, you're getting caught. Nothing you can do that's going to be safe. But you get scared of that button press from that GCD light. It's like, oh, I can't go near that. Recovery might chase me after. But you forgot about the greatsword. That's right there.
That's the mark of a good twos team, is like the confidence that your teammate is covering that space. That way you can cover more space. You can cover to the right side a little bit more. I think back to like in tennis games when you play like Mario Tennis, when your teammate stacks up right behind you and they don't get the ball when it gets past you, like you just get really upset, right?
That's
like
Sparky, right?
You got to cover that space.
So
I'm not naming names.
So
right?
Sparky, right?
I'm not naming names in my Mario Tennis
Was it Sparky 878? That's the big thing we need to know. Well, we have a game number 3 here. We're going to Miami Dome. We haven't really seen this since the Moxie Roscoe showcases that we were seeing before. I think, of course, advantage does go to the double spear. I think that it's immaculate on this stage to be able to cover a lot of range. And also, that soft platform gives them another spot to hide from the bridge starters for the greatsword. But then again, you can also land right in front of it.
Yep. All right, side light comes out from Doggo on the right side. Edge guard. Vey's looking for those pogos. You can see the way he's babysitting Doggo. Doggo forced to the outside. And you can see Zackdaboss comes over to try to help out Doggo there. Did kind of work out, but almost got turned around on him.
Vey's awareness is is really good right now. The fact that he saw that opportunity to shift it off after getting, I think, 3 pogos in a row to then go for that ground pound was really smart. Team communication, of course, could also be a key factor. But very different story, Duke, so far. This is every single game, as we see the first stock fly out here for Vey, has been pretty much dead even throughout each stock.
I mean, that's kind of what you expect of players at this caliber, is like the adaptation, the change-ups between games, things that make it so that they're not just running further and further away. As Vey does manage to get back despite hitting 3 exclamation points. The pressure from the red team was not quite enough.
And here's Doggo once again sporting the third stock first, but that ground pound is going to make it a little bit more difficult. That's a second ground pound. There's no shot you make that back. But Vey is definitely looking a lot better here. Previous game only putting on 374 damage. You could already see a big shift in that here to start.
Yeah, that's what I love to see from Vey, is like when Vey can get those big numbers out, putting out those 600+ damage games. You saw Zackdaboss was actually going really high. Was doing it with the Hattori. Looks like he can still do it with the Jaehyun as well.
Yeah, that was actually the curious thing going into this next game too. It's like, is the Jaehyun still going to be good after that previous game? Or do they figure out the greatsword? The answer is no. Actually, they haven't figured it out yet. He's been working just fine. Meanwhile, though, Hypka and Vey are sporting a decent amount of damage, and they have to worry about another D-Light recovery maybe off that soft platform.
Yeah, you can see that the red team is sticking to these swords, right? They're looking for those downlight recoveries. Hypka a little bit less damage, but there's the recovery. Vey actually going to hold on for a little bit here. Side air will take out Hypka, and Doggo wants this edge guard.
Doggo has never let them just recover for free. That's been a very big factor, but as soon as you see that commitment, free punish right in the position for it, that puts them up in the lead once again.
And there you see kind of the pitfall of this team. Of course, Greatsword, not really a strong 2v1 team weapon, and that's kind of what happened there. You saw him hit a thing into a bridge, and then Doggo was like, oh, I don't have a thing for this, because there's just nothing to do.
Yeah, that is a one-party move that you have. I can't get in the middle of your bridge. But the range has definitely made a big difference, and so far, Vey and Hypka haven't had a solution to that yet. Meanwhile, Stuff Recovery going to go ahead and keep chasing him up on the top. Doggo, once again, sporting the earliest one as he gets double rushed down by both of them. One of them was bound to hit, and yet another last game, last stock situation on all parties involved. Or not last game, it's only game 3.
Slight damage advantage, though. There's the cannonball left side. Doggo, Zackdaboss actually gets the KO, and there's the right side KO for Doggo. 2-1. Good split and good KOs on both sides.
That's not how I expected that to end, to be honest. No? I definitely thought that was going to be going a little bit longer than that. But
that's exactly how I thought it was going to end. I actually wrote it in my notepad before.
See, that's the script that I saw earlier that when I tried to open it, Sparky threw something at me. That was what I missed. At least I know now. And as we move into this game number 4, this now puts that position where Vey and Hypka are staring down what could be a bracket reset. And if you think back to that other set, they were behind 2 games at one point. They were able to get the reverse 3L. Maybe. Nervous might have kicked in. It might have been a thing. But so far, it seems like Doggo and Zach have just figured it out, and they're not letting it go.
Yeah, I mean, the swap over to the Jaehyun has been incredibly effective. Like you said, Vey and Hypka really haven't found an answer to this greatsword. And it's funny because it's not like, oh, he switched over to the Jaehyun and suddenly he's putting out like 500 damage on it or anything like that. It was like 200, 200. Like, it was still pretty evenly split, but just something about that kind of like, okay, I have a tool to take all of this stage control away, just really works well for him.
Actually, you're right on the money with that too. It's literally 238 and 240. So there's no big difference between what's going on between the weapons. He is perfectly utilizing both. The positioning, I think, from Doggo has also helped a ton. Doggo, we mentioned before, not only is always keeping he's the first one to drop that stock when they all lose them together, but there's always a presence of Doggo off stage. Like, you're never getting back comfortably, even with Lance recovery, Sphere recovery. He's just waiting for it so he can get a punish, and that's kind of freaking them out a little bit. And this also bears to mind as well that the team of Double Orion doesn't lead to massive team combos, and it's not easy to line up against someone like Jaehyun, who's going to sneak his way in if he sees you trying to start it and hit you with Greatsword.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been a problem, I guess, with the double Orion pick. Like, again, they're really, really good at taking a lot of space and forcing these 1v1s, but they don't really have anything for those 2v2s. You saw the double spear attempt for a couple of combos, but it never really leaded to those big combos that we saw from, like, Moxie and Rosca. You know what I mean? Like, they have that potential there, but it still hasn't really come to fruition. And I'm really curious if they maybe have something else in the pockets, because right now, I don't know. Double Orion, like, it looked good, but it seems like it's been a little bit answered right now from the Jaehyun.
Yeah, also something I just remembered a severe lack of too, which mostly is just on the kudos to the punish game from the red team. The previous set in winners finals, the double Orions were kind of allowed to just spin to win. They were allowed to desig. They were allowed to, actually not even just that, they were allowed to desig, period. We think back to all the success they had with when they'd have Lance out, neutral sig coverage, you try to fade down, oh, here comes desig, oh, you try to fade away from that, here comes Lance desig, and most of it was just big hits in the right position because they forced you to go there. They haven't been finding that. I don't recall the last time I think I've seen a solid attempt at any of that since the first game, and that was only because they had a 2v1. So they need to try and find that type of success if they want to scare the red team again. Going into this, if they stay on the double Ryans, because it does seem like they are potentially going to switch, but it is what got them into winner side of grands in the first place.
I mean, one thing that works really well for Doggo is, like, he's been on point at spot dodging the side sigs. Like, there was a hot period where Vay and Hypka were just like, we're just going to throw side sigs off of everything. We'll do it off the soft platform, we'll do it on the stage, and we'll just side sigs everywhere. And Doggo's like, all right, I'm going to start spot dodging it. I'm going to just keep punishing it, hitting you with neutral line or down lights off of the sword. And every single time it's like, okay, well, I'm taking away this thing that you were utilizing really effectively. And one thing that's nice for Vay and Hypka, though, is, like, again, they came in top side. They can lose this next one, and it's not the end of the world for them. They still got another best of 5 behind this one.
Yep. Actually, I could kind of respect that. I mean, in this economy, using those side sigs that often, that's a lot of gas, and I don't want to have to refill that tank. That's going to be my entire prize winnings from this.
Because I went the Vay and Hypka.
I'm just going to pretend it is for the bit. That's it.
Yeah. They
still
use fossil fuels,
like,
Orion.
Like Astrofusion or something like that.
he's a meteor from outer space, but he still uses fossil fuels. Like,
Well, he was trying to blend
what's
into
the MPG
trying
of
to
this
blend
Lance?
into society. It's like, wait, what's this horsepower I can put onto my Lance? This sounds cool. But,
this isn't diesel? I can't run this on ethanol?
It probably does run on diesel, to be honest. But we'll see, of course, again, if that's going to be what they continue with. Yeah, they just kind of got scared out of being able to use those, because when you start getting punished by a bunch, my goodness, I got a whole Clark Kent girl going there. When you God, I'm gonna put it up. It's just about to cover the whole side of my face.
Nothing wrong with that.
Go back to my high school days. But we're gonna
gotta cover a whole eye.
that means I gotta go get the eyeshadow and put the hoodie up too.
All
right, here we go. It is that time.
We were trying to decide. We weren't sure if Vay and Hypka had to have a heart-to-heart for that one. They really took their time talking about that one.
You need that too, to be honest. You need that moment of reprieve where you talk to your teammate like, okay, look, we did this before. We've done it in the past. It's not like we haven't been here before. What's going wrong? What do we need to do? And the answer is we're going to stick with the same team comp. We just need to find a way to play around Jaehyun. I think that has been the biggest problem, and also solve Doggo, because Doggo's defense has been immaculate. They're staring down what could be a bracket reset as we get into game number 4.
Like you said, if Doggo and Zackdaboss can get this Game 4 win, we got to reset into another best of 5. Otherwise, Vay and Hypka could potentially steal this one away, forcing it to a Game 5, and then potentially getting that dub and being crowned the champions here in the Winter Championship.
Like this trip again, once back to Miami Dome. If you want to be able to cover those soft platforms with the ranges that you have on Spear or Lance in particular, it's going to matter a lot, as we see one already rushing right in. Doesn't really lead to too much, but this is once again, look at Doggo just refusing to get hit, really, to start it off.
No, but there's those down sigs that you were looking for. We saw one launch Zackdaboss, and Doggo's going to come in, get that recovery, keep Zackdaboss alive for a little bit here as Vay keeping this edge guard going, and Zackdaboss is going to fall. Vay has been so good at these edge guards.
He really has. I like the attempt right there, too. Oh, Doggo trying to stay down there a little bit too long, and that's going to screw them up. So now all of a sudden, I mean, this is not a huge lead, but this is the first time they've had a lead to start it off in a bit.
Yeah, this has definitely been a nice lead coming out for Vay and Hypka, because it was looking like Doggo and Zackdaboss were ready to put this one in the bag and get that reset.
if they could try and build on it. I mean, one thing's for certain so far, Duke, is they've definitely been getting to Zack more. Look at Zack's
Like emotionally?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, look, I'm sorry, your drip game, not good, bro.
They're just like, bullying him in voice comms right now.
Here, during Valentine's Day weekend, man. Come on now.
Good edge guard, Zack.
And that's some tough love right there. As we're going to see a knockout and a big team combo, getting a lot of damage right onto Hypka, and that's the last thing you want. Hypka's the one who's normally not getting hit the most.
Definitely seemed a little bit improvised there as Zackdaboss ended that one off with the recovery. I think a ground pound or a side air would have been a little bit of a better option, but either way, love the damage that they were able to put out because they're, again, behind in this one.
Yeah, that is a big difference maker now because before they had a good amount of damage on the Zack. Instead, it's actually going to be Hypka who falls first. As you see, Zack has been dominating, really picking up a ton after that slow-ish start.
What a spot dodge from Zackdaboss, getting just above that down sig.
Here's that big opportunity on a punish. Ground pound gets both of them, so that works out. Doesn't lead to a knockout, but you do have Doggo, who literally refuses to relinquish stocks at this point. Like, I don't even know what else to say. That ground pound should get the job done, except it was Zack who blocks him again.
Yeah, Zackdaboss came in, threw out that down air, interrupted the edge guard a little bit, but blue team maintaining this lead. Slight stock advantage as Vay's still sitting on that second one.
That's exactly what you needed right now. You needed one of the two to clutch up at the best opportunity you can. Like we said, they had that time to really chat it up and figure out what they needed to do. Does not time the side sig to get some more damage in, but Vay, Vay has really picked it up when it needed it bad.
I mean, that's kind of what we're used to seeing from Vay. When the Fire Nation attacks, Vay is suddenly actually available and around to be seen.
there is no war at Miami Dome. But there is, in fact, people getting lit up as we see that neutral shade coming through and getting that stock. Here comes the side air. Not going to be enough yet, but we're getting close to what is about to be, I think, at this point, an inevitable Game 5.
Yeah, very real possibility. It would be hard for Doggo to steal this one away. It would take a lot of missteps from this blue team, and they are not making any. As Vay, again with the edge guard, Doggo goes for the ground pound. Vay gets around it, and a little bit of damage coming out, but still no KOs.
I can't believe that he dodged Hypka there too, but that is the MVP of that game goes to Vay. There's no other way to put it. 636 damage. That's the numbers we were seeing when they had the reverse 3-0 last time. Very solid damage in the other parts, but I'm taking a quick look over onto Zack. Zack was the issue before in separating them. 344 damage done, but more importantly, took 629, and most of that was off the start and often. So that made a huge shift. As you can see, it goes slow, and then it just rapidly climbs in that damage.
Yeah, Zackdaboss, I mean, he kind of got shut out on that one. A lot of it, again, I want to just call back to those edge guards from Vay, right? Like when Zackdaboss is stuck on the edge, Vay's so good at hitting those pogos. 471 damage put out on the spear. That's just Vay. He's so good at babysitting opponents, hitting those down airs, and then eventually he'll throw in that ground pound just to throw him off a little bit. And then on the other side, Doggo, I feel like Doggo's got this mentality of I can win this edge guard. This one's going to be the one. You'll see him go for those unarmed ground pounds. It's like, maybe change it up a little bit. But we're in Game 5, no character swaps this time.
And this is what could be the very last match of Doggo and Zackdaboss's run. If they can find a way to get the reset, that's going to be entirely on whether Zack picks it back up, of course. Doggo's been immaculate on defense, but not switching off the Jaeyoon, staying comfortably with it to see if they can still get the job done.
Yo, but he's changing that skin game. This sword looks a lot pointier than the last one.
I mean, you're not wrong. And it definitely landed a lot more hits, so might be onto something.
Definitely, it's a very stabby-looking sword. I would not want to get poked with that one as the recovery connects, and it looks like Zackdaboss and Doggo have made that tiny change that they needed. It might just be the map pick that works out for him.
It was the skin swap. so far, Zack has gotten so much more damage. But will Zack be able to make that one back? Absolutely not. Here's an attempt at a power play that will not happen at all because Doggo is just refusing. It's like, nope, not at all. I'm going to hover by the side. You're going to be forced to approach me. I will try to reverse one of you with cannon. And this is a pretty hot start for... Actually, not even not too much of a hot start. Now that I think about it, Doggo is still holding on to that stock.
Yeah. This is looking really, really good for the red team. And like just a moment ago was this really, really smart moment from Doggo where Zackdaboss had a neutral light unarmed. And you saw Doggo positioning backwards, likely would have gone for like a neutral light to keep this team combo going, but saw Zack got interrupted, so he went for the longer reaching down light for a combo, but it's gonna be Vey who falls and Zackdaboss joins him. Downlight recovery. Doggo's still on the first stock.
That completely shifted everything. The fact that they were able to get Vey in the midst of that double attempt at those neutral sigs, now all of a sudden Doggo, like you said, refusing to give up this first one. Your literal main win condition for the blue team right now is getting rid of Zack and then dealing with 3 stocks on Doggo.
I mean, 1v2ing will still be hard at the end of the day, especially now that you're down to your second stock, but Zackdaboss isn't even in that KO percent. But he's got to be careful about these edge guards because Vey has been on point with them as the NC connects. Doggo does get past it. Zackdaboss is low and he can't get back. It's the 1v2. Is it going to be the reset or is it going to be the Grand Finals champions?
Well, everything on the shoulders of Doggo right now, who has been immaculate for when they need him to be. The defense has been phenomenal, refusing to relinquish stocks at any point. Hypka already decently in the red, and you just have to be very careful about who you have playing up front.
Yo, this is where you get your cape. This is where you earn it, and this is where you become a hero, because you've got to get through Vey and Hypka, the top 2 PRs in the region in a 1v2. He hits this air, target swap, side sync connects onto Hypka.
This is also another attempt at a reversal. Oh, tries to catch him again. Good job trying to shift target focus. That's 2 ground pounds, though. Doggo did get at least the damage you needed there on that stock. Doggo, all he needs is maybe one more solid play onto Hypka, and you're going to be finding yourself near those ranges, especially with Cannon, to find that KO.
Blue team trying to pick their approaches as carefully as they can. You can see them split. They're trying to go high and low, just cover and take away space from Doggo. Doggo, with this cannon in hand, doesn't have a lot of big options here. Here's the team combo. Downlight, side sig, and that's it. Vey and Hypka with the team combo. Close it out, and they are your winter champions.
Mentioned before how they did not have many team combos they can land throughout the match normally with this double Orion pick, but when you have only one target in front of you, all of a sudden you can maximize your damage. And well played by Doggo to get them down to both KO percentages, and that of course sneaking through. But here is the final plays coming up in a moment. After that double ground pound covers, you can only make so many mistakes. And once he jumped right down in front of him, it was pretty much sealed deal. Tried to go get that punish, does not find it. Burn dodge, that was pretty much it for you from that point forward.
Man, they were quick and clean on it the second they saw the opportunity, and they got that team combo. Vey and Hypka showing why they're PR at #1 and PR #2 in the region, as they are, of course, the winter champions for the Australian region.
Yeah, champion built at that too, because it's not like that was an easy W for them. They had multiple times winners finals, had to reverse 3-0. Here, it looked like they were done.